Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Lindsay.
And you're listening to Two Bad Pagans podcast.
Two Bad Pagans.
I think it's episode 9.
I have no idea.
I don't know. We've been doing it for almost a year. That's
they can see the title.
Yeah.
They know.
They know. You guys are good like that.
So how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm published.
You're published? That's awesome. As of?
On June 22nd, my book, The Beast, released.
Woohoo! The Beast released?
The Beast released.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. It's very exciting, and it seems to be doing pretty well, and it's fun. I'm getting emails from people I don't know who are saying they read the book, and they just loved it, and they can't wait for the second book. I've had at least 2 people, I think, since yesterday say they're so excited about book 2.
Yeah.
And which is awesome, it's awesome, but it's also very, like...
Terrifying?
Holy crap, I'm not ready yet. They're already like, come on, Lindsay, where is it?
Where is it?
I need it tomorrow.
I need it now.
I'm not going to get it tomorrow.
No. Not tomorrow.
So, yeah. But it's out there. It's being read. It's exciting. And the physical copies are going to be available next month, and I'm very excited about those. And it's good stuff. Good stuff all around.
When do you get the proof for the paperback?
That's supposed to arrive on the 29th.
Okay.
I thought maybe Amazon was exaggerating about the physical proof. Nope. So far... It'll be the 29th, which is ridiculous, but that's Amazon for you. They're like, if you want to pay for it, I'm broke. I've paid for everything else already.
I've been publishing. Oh, goodness.
Yep.
That's exciting.
What about you? What's your life right now?
Oh, not much. Just working. I did get to go to an awesome concert.
Oh, yeah?
This past month.
And what concert was that?
It was Lindsay Sterling. She's an awesome with a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And her sister. And you can watch it on Lindsay's vlog channel. And
yeah.
If you haven't realized it yet, I went with Lindsay.
Yes. And you went with me.
Yes.
I'm actually wearing the shirt that I bought from that concert.
Yeah.
Like, it's like all I wear now.
Yeah.
Every chance I get.
Well, it was such a good concert.
It was a pretty fantastic
thing. And I really liked it. Full experience. In some parts.
I could see how it could be for you. Or for anybody.
For anybody. I don't know. I keep going back and watching it. On blogs and stuff.
That's too funny.
Like, I've seen it probably a good 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah, it's got a lot of views, like 130 something, or it'll get up there pretty fast.
Yeah.
Too bad I'm not getting paid.
Right? Well, can't do anything about that. But like, Yahoo just... Do you know how they do the live event streaming sometimes? For concerts. What? Okay. Yahoo has this like sub-music group. There's just like a
not making
blank face. Yahoo has this program where every now and again they'll film live concerts and live stream them to the website and then play them over and over again for like it's to have to watch some ads and stuff. But you have concerts. And so I've seen a couple of their stuff, but they just did it for Lindsay's show in too many Lindsay's. I think it was down in like South Carolina thing, but it was like an outdoor festival, and it was it was different seeing it at an out venue because they had to change a couple of. And it was funny because it was like hot as blazes, sweating everywhere.
Oh my!
Yeah, and compared like
I bet that was miserable.
Oh yeah, she was talking about it. She's like, if I can make it through another song, it's sweating in my eyeballs. Then and she's like, I'm like, Lindsay, you're only half the way through that, like, and you're already exhausted.
Yeah, she's probably thinking I'm never going to do another outdoor concert again.
Yeah. But it was just funny.
She dances. If you haven't seen Lindsay Sterling, she's a violinist who dances while she plays.
Yeah.
And she is all over that stage. She probably has to eat a ton just to keep any weight on. Because she is just, it's like 2 or 3 hours of just constant cardio for her.
Yeah, and when she's not on stage, she's doing a quick change, you know?
Right.
She's got 2 minutes of time to change from one costume into another. There's just no time for her to rest.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it made me want to go exercise.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But I was watching this concert, and I felt so bad for her because it was getting live streamed. And I've seen, we saw her live, and then I've seen another taped version of her show.
Yeah.
Where it was indoors and, climate controlled. And she was just having the hardest time. And I felt so bad because it was getting live streamed to, like, millions of people. And... like, she was screwing up all over the place. I don't know if you could tell if, like, you weren't a hardcore fan.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, she's missing a bunch of notes there. But she was, like, sweating and, like, completely exhausted.
Yeah, well, Yeah, being out in heat like that, it just it really weighs on you. It's literally like having a big wet blanket on you all the time.
Yeah, like the first half of the set was really good and typical Lindsay fare, but you could tell after a while she just started draining. Like her energy level was just.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And this is the one show that is being filmed and distributed, but in a way distributed. I just felt bad for her. So I'm like, oh, what about all these people that are like, oh, that was an okay concert.
But the one we went to was awesome.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, she was on because the one we went to, Lindsay and I were both like, I wonder if this is just a track because people lip sync stuff, except it'd be like violin syncing to it. Because it was so on point. Yeah. And so good.
But she flubbed at least like 2 or 3 times that I caught.
Yeah, me too.
And that was like, unless they put that in the track, which I doubt. Yeah. But I was like, oh, okay, so it's definitely live then.
Yeah, but after seeing this concert, I was like, oh yeah, she definitely performs live. Because that was bad. Like, it wasn't bad. I was just like, that was not as stellar as I've seen her before. Anyway, but it was just such a good concert that I'm like, I want to go back and re-experience it again and again and again. Because she does this little section where she talks about loving yourself and, getting through things.
Yeah, she went through depression a long time ago, so she had to climb through that. Which pretty much everybody's been through that, so we can all relate in some way.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then it just was very empowering, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But other than that...
It was awesome. It was good. Went to an amazing concert.
Yeah.
Published a book. It's been a big month.
It's been a big month. It's very exciting. Mm-hmm. We also had Midsummer last month.
We did. We did.
Well, a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't that long ago.
But in the last month. It was a couple days ago.
And it was funny, too, because I had thought... I don't know why I thought this, but I had got it in my head that the solstice was the day before Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And I was sicker than a dog. Like,
I felt so bad.
It was like I had 4 or 5, 6 days off, something like that in a row. I was so excited about it. 2 days in, I get sick. It just hits me. And for several days, and the day before Father's Day comes around, I actually sent you a message wishing you a happy solstice. Mm-hmm. And because I thought it was that day, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I just don't have it in me to do this. And the next day I felt much better. Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized that, oh no, the solstice today. Okay, well, I feel much better. I can actually do something. I'm still a bad pagan because I thought it was yesterday.
You were sick. We'll just blame
delusional,
it on that. Yeah. I'm so delusional from illness. Yeah.
But I still didn't do the stuff that I wanted to do, really. Yeah. I mean, I did stuff that I'm happy about, I feel good about, but not the big, I want to do like a big ritual and stuff, and I still didn't do that.
Yeah. I know. I didn't either.
Maybe for the next one, the next big holiday, I think I will. Which is in the fall, and that's kind of is August fall. That's when the next one is, right?
Yeah.
Lammas, is it? Or is that? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, you guys.
Yeah.
In case you haven't figured that out.
Yeah. Today we're two bad pagans.
I've only been a pagan for a decade now, and I still don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Lammas. Yeah, in July, and then in August we have.
So the next holiday is in July, you said? Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I think
that'd be next month.
Yeah. Yes. I'm terrible.
Earlier we were talking about this, and you made it sound like we didn't have another holiday for months.
Yeah, it's August 1st.
I'm going to Google this if I have to.
August 1st. And then there's, I usually can remember everything, but when I have to think about it, my memory is just gone. Mabon. I was like, there's the 3 harvest festivals left before Samhain.
So...
Well, 2 harvest festivals left.
Okay, so the
Lunasta?
Yeah, whatever.
Lammas. I don't know how to pronounce it.
They really need to come up with a different name for that one.
The older god names, we don't need those.
I can't pronounce the first one, and Lammas just doesn't sound cool. I got nothing. That one's the 1st of August, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh.
I was like, 2, 3 harvest festivals? I forget.
Well, I might still come up with something good for that one.
Yeah.
So, will we have another podcast then?
Yeah.
What month is it now?
It's June.
It's till June.
So we'll have a podcast next month.
This is our June podcast that we're talking to right now?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's a really interesting one, too.
Everyone's like, this is really disjointed. Welcome to Two Mad Pagans, where we talk about disjointed conversations.
And we're just super confused about everything. Okay, but we'll have another podcast between now and Llamas.
Yeah, so next...
Okay, so we'll have to come up with some different homework this time.
Yes.
I'm not prepared. That's the theme of today. We've said it so many times today. We are not prepared.
We're not prepared for this show. Well, we were supposed to podcast the 20th, the day before solstice, but Lindsay was all sick and stuff, so we did not do that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That would have been all messed up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Whatever. Anyway.
So, do you want to tell them what you did for your solstice?
Sure. I was not sick, but I was...
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been irritating.
Somehow no one has gotten sick, and I'm like, and I don't even know where my sickness came from. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm like, well, how come no one else has gotten sick? Why haven't I been spreading this?
Yes.
Even they got it on the video or my vlog. My brother licked my face like the day I got sick.
Yeah.
Because he's a jerk.
He is a jerk.
And I'm like, well, at least I know he'll get sick. And he hasn't.
Jerk.
I'm like, what's happening?
He's a jerk for not getting sick.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Talk about myself. Go
that
ahead.
Guy. Anyway, so I burned some incense and I did a tarot reading for myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that tarot reading?
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out something in my life, and
how did it go?
It was really good. The cards, I did a simple 3-card spread. Because sometimes I'll do a 7. No, how many is it? 8, 9 card spread. I forget. Anyway,
I don't know. I wing it.
Yeah, I did a simple 3-card spread asking about the past, the present, and the future about a certain point in my life. Or a certain thing in my life, and I just was, concentrating on it and, chanting and trying to get into that headspace. Mm-hmm. And the cards told me something I had, not even thought of.
Oh.
And I was like... And what was weird is because I work with the Raider White deck of tarot with the major and the minor arcana? Or arcana. Anyway, sorry. Lindsay and I have a lot of book learning, so we don't often know how to pronounce things.
Amen.
Yeah. So if you're ever like, these guys are weird, who taught them? Well, it was books.
And you're probably saying it right. It just sounds weird when you actually say it out loud.
Mm-hmm. So, because they say the major arcana, when they show up in readings, they're more powerful, more indicative of things. Well, the past card was a minor arcana card, but the present and the future were both from the major arcana. And it was very much like you're having this moment of introspection and there's a whole world of possibilities open up to you in the future. That's what I got from the spread.
Okay.
And I was like, because I was expecting something terrible and something like, or you're like, but I was...
Death and mayhem.
Not death, just mayhem, I was expecting the worst, and they just really didn't say that. And it was, there's a whole universe of possibilities, and everything is open up to you. And so that was really encouraging to me. So that was very exciting. But I just took time and, burned some incense and a candle and just thought about things, and it was a good moment of introspection and trying to get outside of myself, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Good.
Yeah.
It sounds nice.
Yeah. It was definitely not what I had intended, because I was going to do this whole banishment ritual.
You were. We're so bad. We're such bad pagans.
We are. But
we're gonna keep doing homework and talking about what we did. At some point, we're gonna have to really toughen up and just do something.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was just, I don't know. I think that we did some small something is
Better than nothing.
Better than nothing, because we used to do nothing at all.
Right, that's true.
So
yeah, we would just, oh, right, that was this weekend.
Yeah, whoops.
I spent the day watching movies and eating popcorn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, I did more than that.
Yes.
Actually, I was just in the mood for change and to do things, and I don't know if it was just because I was feeling better or what, but I actually ended up my place is just filled with boxes and boxes because I moved a lot in the past couple of years, and it was very rushed and haphazard, and I kind of got to a point where I just said, heck with it, and I left 90% of my stuff in boxes, and it's a mountain of boxes. It's just a mess, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start working on this. So I spent the majority of the day going through boxes and picking things, what's to keep and what's going to get thrown away and what's going to get donated. And I went through about 5 boxes, which I was pretty proud of. There's a pretty sizable hole in my mountain house, so that's awesome. And then, aside from that, then I decided to light some candles, praying for abundance and love and light and just good things, good vibes to be sent out into the room. And after I did that, I worked on a vision board. Oh. And for those of you who don't know what a vision board is, which would really amaze me, but...
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, a vision board is basically, it's a board or a place in your house where you take pictures of things that represent things that you want out of life or goals you'd like to achieve, and you put them on this board. And it's supposed to be a big collage of dreams and hopes. And the idea is that every time you see it, you think about those things. And you reflect positively on those things, and it keeps them at the forefront of your mind. And there's a fair bit of magic lore behind it, where people will say that everything they put on their vision board always comes true. There was a guy, he's a famous actor. I want to say it was like Channing Tatum type character. I don't think it was him, but it was like that kind of an actor. Yeah. Oh, he played one of the vampires in the Twilight series. He played the buff one. Oh,
gotcha.
He now has he's now a host on a... Yeah, the character was Emily, yeah. Okay. But he's now a host of some reality show, and he was on Conan O'Brien, and he said that he uses vision boards, and he's always used vision boards, and without them, he wouldn't have gotten where he is today.
Interesting.
And then I was watching, there's a documentary called The Secret that talks about a lot of positivity, and they interview a guy who had created a vision board years and years ago, got different jobs, moved around, it got packed away, and they'd moved into, years later, they'd moved into their new house, and he's at his computer in his office doing his thing, and his son comes in, and there's like a box of junk by the door, and he's rummaging through it, and he pulls out this like poster board of all this stuff, and he goes, "Dad, what is this?" And he looks up, and it's his vision board. Yeah. And he explains to his son what it is and what the point of it is. And his son is like, like typical son, and just kind of like, okay, whatever, and gives it back to him. And he looks at it, and he realizes that the house, the dream home that he had taken, like cut out of a magazine or whatever, and he'd put it on the board, it was the exact same house that they had just moved into.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So... It's supposed to have these really amazing powers behind it to make good things happen in your life. And I've always wanted to do one, and I've just never done it. And several weeks ago, I started printing off pictures, and I didn't get through all the pictures I wanted because my printer, and I don't know, it had a moment. It just threw a fit and I do it anymore.
The printer had a moment.
It did. It's working now, so I have no idea what its problem was. But it just quit printing all of a sudden. And I managed to get... my dream home on there, which is funny because I have no idea what my dream home is. Yeah. Like, I can see myself living in a tiny house, like on one on wheels, and I can see myself living in a hobbit house on like 100 acres or something out in the middle of nowhere. Like, that would be amazing. Yeah. But then I can also see myself living like off the coast of Maine on the beach or something like that with lots of yard and stuff. Yes. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll end up with all of those houses someday. So I end up printing off the closest version to all of those houses, like the best representation I could find that captured that for me. And I put those up in one corner, and I, dream home. And then I took 2 pictures from websites on clothing for bathing suits, because they always cut off the woman's head in those. Yeah. And I took got 2 with bathing suits on there, and then I got a picture of a clear bowl with some fruit in it. It looked delicious, and that represented hot, healthy body. You know, because I want it all in one. I want to be hot, but I also want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want to be both. And then I got a picture of a plaque, the YouTube plaque. When you hit a certain number of subscribers, they send you a plaque to congratulate you. I picked the lowest one. I printed it off. I put that on there and with some lines that said like 50,000 subscribers and then 100,000 subscribers on that.
Yeah.
So I'm nowhere near that. I'm at like 300 subscribers. So I'm nowhere near that. But the point is to put that out there.
Reach for your goals, yeah.
And even if it never came to pass, if it didn't work out for me the way it did for the people that I mentioned, since I've put that up there, every time I wake up, every time I look over and I see it, I don't just look at it and then look away like, oh, it's nothing. I look over at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that bowl of fruit looks wonderful, and those bathing suits look great. I hope I get to wear a bathing suit like that, or that dream home. Oh, I can see myself in that living room.
Yeah.
And, you know, I go through these emotions and these thoughts, and I project that out there into the universe. So it's had a very positive impact on me already, and I've only had that for a couple of days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's that's basically what I did.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I lost power like the next day. So
Yeah.
And then I lit more candles then too.
Yeah. I don't know. Vision boards have been like popping up in my life in weird places.
Because maybe the universe is telling you that you need to start one.
Maybe. Because like you talked about one, and then what was I? Oh, I was watching another YouTuber who's having her wedding this week. And she was just talking about her vision boards for the wedding and how, like, she didn't have colors. She was just vision boarding it so that her, like, wedding staffer could, you know, make a theme for her. Because she's like, I don't know what I want. Just here are some basic things.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's another vision board. Like, you know how they say the universe tells you things in threes that you need to pay attention to?
Okay.
So that's number 2. So I'm waiting for the third to see if that happens.
I need one more sign before I make it a thing.
Yeah. That's my life. I'm like, this looks like a thing, but I'm not going to do anything about it now.
Let's just wait and see how bad the universe really wants it.
Does the universe really want me to do this? Or is it kind of just like a nudge, you maybe should?
I think you totally should, because it's fun to do it. I enjoyed finding the pictures. I mean, it's like window shopping.
Yes.
You know, you get to buy all this stuff without actually spending any money.
Yeah.
And so I printed off, or you could like get magazines and look through magazines. I didn't do that because then you have to buy the magazine and it's like $8 for that magazine, and then you cut out one picture. So I didn't do it that way. I just printed it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fantastic. So that was my holiday.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was good. I really liked it. And like I felt like magical for like 3 days. Before that, it just felt magic in the air.
Yeah.
Which could have been due to publishing a book after that, but then also I just think that it was in the air. That magic was in the air.
I think so.
For the summer solstice.
And while you were looking through the boxes that day, you found something that was very important.
I did. I'm like, I did? What?
You did?
What'd I find?
What'd I find?
I did. I did come across one box that had a whole bunch of witchy stuff in it. I didn't tell you about this, but
okay. No, you can.
I'm telling you now. It actually had all the ingredients that I had bought because I wanted to do a spell for weight loss, and I still want to do that. But they still got packed away. Yeah. And I came across that box and was pulling them out, and there was some 5 incense sticks that with bayberry smell, and I pulled it out and it smelled so good. and then I pulled out 5 packages of herbs, and I just love holding those, and some candles, and there was one candle that had already been burnt, so that was like, ooh, I don't know why that excited me, but it did.
I don't know.
A burnt candle had been used.
Oh, it's magic.
This has a thing, yeah.
Oh, it's magic.
So I put all that stuff out, and it was just awesome. Nick likes to break in a song. You have to let it go.
Yeah.
He does that. His whole life is a musical.
Yeah. Lindsay's just like, if I ignore it, it will go away.
Yeah. If I encourage it, you'll just keep going and it won't stop.
Yeah.
I have it on camera. We've done it before.
Anyway.
Yeah, so in another box, I pulled out a journal. Journal? Yeah, journal. It's just a leather-bound journal, handmade in Italy, which makes it sound super fancy. But I got it free from work, and because it's the clasp is just 2 leather straps that tied together, and they had been broken, and we can't sell that, so it got put on the free table, and I snatched it up a while ago. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever use this. I probably won't, but I'm gonna take it anyway. And I tossed it in a box.
Yeah.
And I bought a different journal for my Book of Shadows, and I bought it because I liked the journal that I bought, and it was a removable cover, so I could always change it out later if I wanted to. And it's beautiful. I paid a lot of money for it. Yeah. And I never used it. And I kept thinking I want to work on my Book of Shadows, but then I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it.
Because you spent so much money on it.
Yeah. And when I look at the cover, it had 3 women dancing, and I liked that because it represented the triple goddess and all these different aspects, but it didn't really speak to me. Like it was nice, but it was just kind of okay for me. It was the best that I found for what I was looking for at the time. So then when I went and pulled out this box and I pulled this journal out, it's a very basic journal. It's plain leather. It's not even like treated. It's very flexible, and it looks like somebody just made it themselves. The binding is like glue and one strip of leather. Yeah. And the imprint, there's no words, but the imprint is like a, I don't know, it kind of looks like a flower crossed with a snowflake or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a doily.
And it's stamped half on the front and half on the back, and it's discolored. But when I pulled it out of the box, I smelled leather, and it was like just the right kind of raw leather. That it just transported me back to my childhood, my teenage years with the horses. Because I grew up on a horse farm. We used to compete with horses. Our lives were horses. It's like all we did. And so you spend a lot of time around leather and saddles and preparing saddles so that you can ride the horse. And it all takes on this very dusty leather scent. Yeah. And this had that. And as soon as I pulled it out, I smelled it. And all of that came to me in a couple of seconds. Yeah. And I was just filled with this warm, fuzzy feeling, and I kind of went, oh, horses and home and happiness and my mom and all this good stuff. Yeah. You know, it just kind of came back to me. And then I pulled it out, and I looked at it, and I like the way it feels in my hand. I like that it's like flexible and it's worn. I just like it. Yeah. And I thought, this is my book. Yes. This is the Book of Shadows. This is what it needs to be. I don't care that the straps are broken. I kind of like that they're broken, so when I tie them and they're uneven, and I like it. Yeah. I think that's great. So I told Nick this is going to be my Book of Shadows, and I keep picking it up and holding it. And it's funny because I've had this for like a year or a couple of years, and I didn't get this impression. Like, I probably liked the way it smelled when I took it from the table, but it didn't hit me the same way. Yeah. But it hit me this time. I'm like, this is it. This is the book. Yeah. This is mine. This is mine.
And I love it when objects speak to you like that. Like, this is what I am. This is what I am, you know? Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's interesting. I wonder what about now made it speak to me now. Like, maybe I wasn't ready for it then.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Then
when I was here, Nick was showing me his Book of Shadows, which is totally him. Yeah. I love his Book of Shadows. It fits him perfectly. And he was showing me some of the pages, and he did this really nice like calligraphy writing on the inside of it. And he would... Well, do you want to tell him what happened?
Sure.
It's your story. Why am I telling it?
I think I might have mentioned it on a previous podcast when we...
Well, I'll assume they're like me and they don't remember. Because you told me the story and I didn't remember, so if you'd mentioned it before.
I had filled in how to smudge a house. I had written it on a piece of paper in the middle of this blank journal.
And can I just say that the spell is my spell?
It is.
Well, kind of my spell. I got it from the person who taught me witchcraft, and then Nick messaged me on Facebook and said, "How do you do this?" And I said, "This is what I say." And then I do this.
And it's so, because I had looked for it because Lindsay and I were talking about smudging, and I was like, I need to smudge and I need to do this, but I looked online and I was coming up with either like pages and pages of like
ceremony.
Not ceremony. It was like an epic poem of like how to smudge a house.
You're supposed to like memorize all this stuff to say.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've got a smudge in one hand, a candle in the other, and then how am I going to carry whatever I need to remember this? And then there were some things that were like, be clean, and I'm like,
be clean. That's not cool. Yeah. I feel like you're commanding Mr. Clean.
And it's a good like. it's a good, like, maybe ending statement, but I was like, I need just a chant. And I remember Lindsay and I had talked about the chant that she uses, because she told me about the time when she started being, you know, witchcraft and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, Lindsay, what is the chant that you use? So I modified it a bit to suit my purposes. So I was smudging my house, my old apartment at one time, and I had written this page out, and I, you know, had it there, and then I decided as a final touch I was going to take some of the, like, burnt leaves of the smudge and leave an imprint on the page of the first time that I had smudged.
Right.
You know, to be kind of, like, crafty and cool. And when I did that, I didn't realize that the coals were still hot.
Yeah.
And they burned through a couple pages. And I would have thought that was...
down your apartment.
Which is ironic, because a couple months later it did burn. Anyway, so... I really liked the look of burnt stuff, and I was planning on doing a bit of that, but it had burned right into the middle of the chant. And I could have remembered, but I was like, I can't do this. So I cut out a couple of pages.
Perfectionist.
I'm such a perfectionist. And that's one of the things I love about the Book of Shadows concept, is that you can just take them out and, you know...
And it actually kind of looks cool having some, like, the fraying of torn pages there.
Yeah, it fits with the rest of the look of the Book of Shadows, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I redid it on, like, a couple pages down where you can still see the burn marks, but not, like, burn through the page.
Yeah.
And then I kept the other pages just cause.
Yeah.
And we were looking through it today, and Lindsay was like, this looks so cool. This is exactly the sort of thing that I would put in my book. And I was like, yes, it looks cool.
It does look cool. So I asked him if I could have it, and he said that I could.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna put it in mine. And it occurred to me, I had made a comment that I put a little something of you inside my Book of Shadows, and how nice is that?
Yeah.
And then it just occurred to me that because those words came from me, you already have a little something of me in yours. That's nice.
But I want something else.
Oh, okay.
But I do have a little bit of you in my Book of Shadows.
So yeah, just nice.
It is just nice.
It's just nice. One of these days we're going to do a crafting day.
Yeah.
And we're going to work on our Book of Shadows together.
And it was just cool, because we were talking about that, and I was like, well, I use a calligraphy pen to calm my mind down and try and get a better look of the journal, because if I just handwrite stuff, I don't focus, and I end up misspelling, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
So I use a calligraphy pen, even though I'm not that great at it, just to get a different look and and I'm getting better. But then that launched a conversation with Lindsay and I about, you know, Lindsay was like, oh, I'm just going to print stuff in mine. And, you know, we were talking about it. And I thought that was wonderful. Weird ending to the story.
Yeah. We ended up practicing calligraphy, writing the chant over and over again, back and forth to see how it looked, and just to see. And I might try handwriting something with a calligraphy pen. I don't know.
Because I think it ended up looking different than you thought it would. Because you were like, oh, my handwriting is terrible, and...
Sometimes I looked at it and I thought it looked really good, and other times I looked at it and I thought it looked like children's writing, and because it's my writing, I don't know if it would ever look good.
My handwriting is terrible.
Yeah, but see, when I look at yours, I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not mine. It's not perfect, but I don't know. I don't know how to word it. Things are just better when other people do it.
I suppose.
You view them better, I guess. I don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, so we were excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
Until we read something about Etsy.
Yes, we were excited about all this until we read something about Etsy.
Because we were like, we're bad pagans. We're so unprepared. What are we going to talk about today? So we were looking at...
Yeah, we were very unprepared.
Yeah.
We need to find some topics.
We need to find some topics to talk about, because we can ramble on about things for a couple minutes, and then...
And then we're going to be like, now what do we talk about? And it's going to be awkward. And then, so I went on to Witch's Voice Facebook page, and I was just scrolling through their feed, and you were online scrolling.
I was on the Wicca subreddit.
Okay, you were on Reddit, and we came across the exact same article at the exact same time. And I went, oh my god, Etsy did this, and then Nick started laughing. He goes, I'm reading that one too.
So we figured it was a side.
Yeah, but we had to talk about this.
Yes. So Etsy, in short, has started a new policy a couple of days ago. If you don't know what Etsy is, as a background, it's an online website where people can buy handmade goods.
It's a really nice website. You can buy just about anything in it. They're slightly... A lot of the people are overpriced, though.
Yeah.
That's my biggest complaint. But it's a good place for gift ideas.
Yeah. And, yeah. It was kind of like Pinterest before Pinterest was Pinterest.
Right, but you can actually buy stuff on it.
Yes. Well, you can buy stuff on Pinterest now, too.
Can you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I just thought Pinterest was a picture thing.
Yeah. So, also as context, a couple of years ago, eBay banned the sale of spells. And recently, Etsy has done something similar. And has banned, like, magical spells and...
Metaphysical items.
Yes, I think it's... I was like, what's the word? I'm looking at the article, but I can't think of the word.
The article I read, you kept using the word metaphysical.
Mm-hmm.
Ban the use of metaphysical sales. And the way they described it is that it doesn't matter if something's being sent to you, any claim that something does something is not right or illegal or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I went to Etsy after reading that and I searched around, and you could still buy candles for love spells, and you could buy, because I've wanted to buy pages for my Book of Shadows off there, because people will print them and sell them, and you can still get all that on there and stuff like that. Same for eBay, though. Yeah. I think the only thing that seems to not be on there is you can't say, I'll do a spell for you. You want love? I'll do a love spell for you. You just pay me the money. Yeah. And I think that's what they're banning. And I don't agree with that choice. Even though I would never hire someone to do a spell for me. At least I don't think I would anyway.
At least not through the internet.
I mean, I guess if I was really desperate or I wasn't having any luck, I might search something like that out. But I think this is the problem with our society. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go into one of those little spiels. Yeah. This is the problem with today's society. I think we just need to stop. We need to stop demonizing everything and stop trying to be everybody's parent. Yes. You know, if somebody wants to spend a couple $1,000s or a couple $100 to Joe Schmo they've never met because Joe Schmo says he's going to give them a love spell and make everything happen for them, they should be allowed to do that. Yeah. And if they get screwed over, that's their problem. Yeah. Period. Yeah. However, and I think with those types of sales, there should be some sort of stipulation. Like say I'm the buyer. When I go to buy, I should have to sign some sort of consent waiver saying that I recognize that this may be a lie or this may be fraud or blah blah blah, and I'm going with it anyway. Because it's not the same thing as someone saying that they're going to make me something and then that something never shows up. Because I've been in that situation before. I bought something on Etsy and then that person never made anything and it turned out they were a fraud, and lots of people bought things from them and they never made those things. Yeah. And I got my money back from that. So that was awesome. Yeah. I don't think that's the same thing.
Yeah, because with metaphysical things, they don't always show up the way you expect.
Right. And just because something didn't necessarily work or doesn't seem to have worked doesn't mean the person didn't spend the time doing the spell. Yeah. So, and I can understand where that would put Etsy in kind of a weird place, because who are they supposed to defend here? And this is why they've said, look, we're not going to do it at all. Yeah. I don't think they should say they should be a referee. I think they should just... People have to sign consent waivers, and then once that's done, that's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Or as,
part of the seller's stipulation on the purchasing of goods. Say, I don't guarantee this to work in the way you imagine or in the way... You know what I'm saying? Right. I appreciate your vibes and... that energy that helps direct the spell, but it might not come back the way you think it will.
Right. Yeah. And I feel the same way with eBay. Yeah. But I'm still glad they're at least allowing them to sell supplies and stuff. Yeah. Because, and it's the same on eBay, because I still buy, because in the article I read, they have said that when eBay created this band. A lot of people went to Etsy to buy their witchcrafting supplies. I still buy, like, the weight loss spell I told you about. I bought all the stuff I needed off of eBay still. Because you can still buy herbs on there. And I think incense and things like that, so.
I think sellers just got more smart about it and didn't say, like, this is this, and it's used for this, and it will do this for you, as much as just, this is this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and so the article I read said that they'd also cracked down on bath and body type items and soaps for violating FDA policy or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they were claiming health benefits for certain types of soap and stuff, and now they're not allowed to do that.
So weird.
Yeah. And I buy my soap off Etsy.
Yeah.
I actually buy quite a bit of home care, body care stuff off of Etsy. Because I want it organic, and I want it handmade.
Yeah.
So that's usually the best place to go with it. And it's actually not that expensive on there.
No.
The home remedy type stuff is fairly affordable.
Yeah.
It's when you buy the crafty stuff that gets super expensive.
Yeah. And I can understand why, because
a lot of time and effort goes into that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of time and effort goes into that stuff. And it's hard to put a money value on someone's time and effort.
Yeah.
Especially someone who just does it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just think it's interesting. Like, and some people that I was reading were saying that it was like, I can't think of the word, like discrimination against pagans, because you know, who are they to say, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The words are not coming to my brain.
No, I totally understand what you're trying to say. Like, it's discrimination against pagans or Wiccans or witchcraft or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, the theme for the article I read was like, get your hands off my witchcraft.
Yeah. And
I completely agree with that. I actually ended up, after reading that article, I signed a petition for them to not do that. Because I agree. Yeah. And I don't think they realize it, but they've walked into religious territory here.
Yeah.
And that's a very dangerous territory to walk in.
Oh, yeah. Because people are so defensive about their spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can understand why. It's one of the most personal things about
yeah,
about who someone is.
Yeah.
Is their spiritual belief and practice.
Right. But just because you don't believe that my candle isn't going to make me $1 million just by burning it doesn't mean that I don't believe it. Doesn't mean I can't burn it. It doesn't mean I can't sell it to somebody who believes what I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's...
Who knows?
Hopefully, they'll probably end up going ahead with their choice and banning it anyway, but...
Yeah. But it's just interesting. What do you guys think? Let us know.
Yeah, send us some listener mail. We didn't get any last time.
Lindsay's not bitter about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Interesting stuff.
It's an interesting day.
It is an interesting day. Well, why?
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing?
Got nothing to offer. I'm sorry. I know you're waiting for me to fill this air, and I've got nothing for you.
Yeah. It's just kind of a weird day. Lindsay and I are like, well, we're here.
Things still feel magical to me, though. I
Yeah.
wonder if it's just, do you feel this, or is it just because I published a book and I feel different because I published a book? Or do you think it's both?
I think both.
You think so? Because I feel, and maybe it's because we have the AC on, which makes everything feel colder, which makes me think of autumn.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I was hanging out outside, I wouldn't feel this way because it's not cool outside.
No. I don't know. And I don't know. Someone recently told me that I need to trust my instincts more.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to listen.
You should.
What?
You should trust your instincts more and watch for signs.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I watch for all signs.
I try to be so logical and not think with that side of my brain.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't trust myself. And I really need... That's something that I've really been working on in the past couple of days, is trusting my instincts. And if something feels a certain way, trying to react to it and respond to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely say I tend to veer more towards instincts.
Yeah.
The way I think in how I do things in life. Like, I always kind of joke that my life policy is just let's wing it. Mm-hmm. Let's wing it and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's true.
Mm-hmm.
People will ask me serious questions. I'll be like, well, Do it and see what happens.
Yeah. I know. I was talking with one of my coworkers the other day, and he was like, it's interesting how we take different approaches, because you want to think things through and figure out exactly how to work it the best. And I'm just like, let's just jump into it. And if we have to redo it, we'll redo it. And I was like, but if we thought through it, then we wouldn't have to expend all that extra energy, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I need to learn a little bit from your just can-do attitude and not try to overthink it. Because I overthink things a lot.
I can see that. I can see you definitely being an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think has its benefits in some way. You know,
Some
like
ways.
plotting a book is really useful when you're an overthinker. It makes that easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten better in that regard, you know. But when it comes to life and stuff, I very much am about my gut and what feels right to me. And if something does not feel right to me and I'm just not feeling it, that is all the excuse I need not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you recognize, like, it has to be a gut reaction and not just fear.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, I'm like that trip I went on.
Yeah.
I was absolutely afraid and nervous about that. And I could have been just not gone on that because I could have, you said, oh, I just feel like I shouldn't go.
Yeah.
But that wasn't true.
You were just afraid of getting out.
Fear.
Yeah, it's afraid of getting out of your comfort zone.
Right. And that's very, very different. So you have to be able to recognize the difference between the two.
Yeah. And I think that really, overthinking things really held me back in a lot of ways from, my chair's really squeaky. You can probably, it's distracting me at the moment. That fear held me, like, that fear and that.
You can tell it's not a squeaky chair, that we actually have a blazing fire.
Oh, yeah, this is
in
just
the studio, we have a fireplace.
A fireplace.
It's
just to get
really
the,
nice and comforting.
Yeah.
Even though we have the AC on, I just said that a few minutes ago.
But
that's how we roll.
That's how we roll. We've got a little fireplace, and then
the AC is cranked way up.
And, sunroof. So that we can see out and see the Aurora Borealis.
There we go.
Which was supposed to be visible last night.
Was it?
But
no
I didn't.
Way.
Yeah, they said it should be like right overhead, even as far south as we are in Michigan. I know.
Dude.
I know. I looked outside and I was like, I don't see it. But maybe I just wasn't looking when the storm was going. I don't know.
Was it cloudy last night? It was probably cloudy. I don't remember seeing any stars, so.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I'm in the middle of the city. So I kind of just gave up and went inside. At any rate.
Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yes. That fear of getting outside of my comfort zone held me back a lot in my spiritual practice, because I was like, what if I do this thing, and what if I go to this place and it just doesn't, I find that it's nothing. You know, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, let me give you an example and see if it's the same thing.
Okay.
Because maybe it's not. Maybe it is. But based on what you said, this is what I thought of. I was out walking through the woods one day, and I found a seeing stone. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with seeing stones?
I think so.
A seeing stone, or a holy stone, is a stone that has had a hole naturally bore into it.
Oh, yeah.
And I came across one. I just happened to be walking along and looking, and I looked down and I see it, and it looks like somebody had screwed into it, but it was out in the middle of this woods, you know, so no houses around. So it looked to me, I'm like, this has to be natural. Yeah. And this is probably gonna sound so cheesy to some of you guys. In a book about fairies once, I read that if you look through a seeing stone, it will allow you to see fairies and the fae type. And as someone who does like to believe, is inclined to believe that fairies are a thing and they are about, I thought I could look through this and potentially see that. And then I thought, that could change everything. What if it turned out that they were real? And what if I actually did see something? Holy crap. Yeah. You know, what if that happened? But then I thought, what if I looked and I didn't see anything? What if I walked through the woods and I looked around and I didn't see anything at all? And then all my imaginings about fairies and stuff
would be proven
wrong, and I couldn't do that anymore. I'd be like believing in Santa Claus. Yeah. Forcing myself to believe in Santa Claus, even though I know for a fact he ain't real. Yeah. Don't tell me otherwise. Yeah. So I have this seeing stone, and I brought it home, and I put it in a box, and that's where it stayed. And I likened it to Schrodinger's cat. About, you know, as long as it's in the box, you don't know if it's dead or alive. Yeah. So at that moment, it can be both dead and alive.
Yes.
Existing simultaneously at
Yes.
once. So I'm like, fairies could still be real.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I don't look through that damn seeing stone.
But even if you looked through the seeing stone and didn't see anything, that doesn't mean they don't exist.
Well, that means they're not around me at the very least. They could be hiding, I suppose.
I suppose.
I don't know. See, that's what I thought of when you said what you just said, where I'm like, my mind is getting in my way, and it's maybe my instincts are saying, look through it, walk around through the woods and look through it and see if you find something, and just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But my mind's kind of afraid and saying, no, don't, because you might not like what you find. So I don't.
I think it's similar to that. Yeah, I think it's similar to that. What I've been through.
Okay.
Just like
Maybe I was being too literal. I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know. Growing up in Christianity, I have this like just natural distrust of religion now because of my experiences.
You do.
And
I've noticed that.
And I just...
We're very different in that regard.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
I'm like, I don't believe what everyone else says. I kind of want to figure it out for myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes that really like screws me over when I am not prepared for what I find.
Okay.
You know?
I think so.
Well, not in a screwing me over sense, but for example, like when I did the tarot reading the other day, my results were completely unexpected. And that's why I love doing a tarot reading, because it helps me think of problems and situations in different ways. Trying to figure out why the universe is telling me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't prepared for that. And that's not, that's a bad example, but, it's stuff like that happens. And I'm like, whoa, this is not what I expected at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think you should go with your gut more. Search out your feelings more. What is your instincts telling you? And then start looking for signs more.
Yeah.
I think we should all look for signs more.
Yeah.
I love looking for signs. I've always looked for signs since I was a kid, back when I was still Catholic.
Yeah.
I looked for signs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a quote from a movie, quote that I'd put on a piece of paper and I burned it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was making a book of shadows even then.
Yeah.
And I had burned the edges of it and I'd put it in a picture frame and stuck it on my wall. And it said, "You look lost. There are signs everywhere to help you find your way."
Aw.
And I kept that on my wall for the longest time, just to keep me focused on track and keep me continually looking for signs. And if you open up yourself to signs, and it doesn't matter what the signs are from, you can believe they're from angels, from God, from Goddess, from the universe. It really does not matter. Just that they're coming from the source of where we come from.
Yeah.
And once you open yourself up to that, I think you'd be amazed at the coincidences that start to pop up, and then you start to become aware of those things. And
for example, we were talking about vision boards earlier, and I was like, I'm waiting for the third. Mm-hmm. And then after we talked about it, I was like, oh, that was my third. We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and then, and sometimes, most of the time, I think when you see signs, you instinctually know what they're supposed to mean, why they're there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You hate your job, but you love horses, and then suddenly horses are everywhere. You're seeing posters about horses and movies about horses, and a truck drives by and it's got a big horse on the side saying, "You should be a horse trainer."
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then instinctually you might be going, I think I'm supposed to quit my job and become a horse trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So then you take the steps to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And there's only been one instance where I didn't understand the signs that I was getting, and I was continually seeing repeated numbers everywhere. And I probably mentioned this in the podcast, but it'd be like 1111 or 77. Well, that wouldn't be possible, but
777.
Or like I'd ring somebody up and it would be 777. Things like that. And I would see it at the register. I would look at my clock on my computer and I would see those numbers, and it would just keep popping up and they would stand out to me. And that kept happening a lot. And I'm like, okay, I'm noticing this. I don't know what this means. So I went on like Yahoo Answers, and I put it in spirituality and religion and stuff. And I said, I am a Wiccan. I practice witchcraft. This is what I'm seeing. I'm looking for signs. It means. And some people responded and they said that seeing repeated numbers, is a sign that the angels are trying to send you a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe in angels, so that worked out for me. So I decided then to do a tarot card reading. So and when I did the tarot card reading, it told me about my life and what to expect and the usual tarot card reading stuff. And then I stopped seeing the double numbers. They went away. So anytime, and every now and then, this happens.
Yeah.
And anytime the double numbers or repeating numbers start cropping up continually, I take it as a sign that the angels or God or somebody is trying to... They're like saying, hey, we need to tell you something.
Yeah.
You need to focus. And then I pull out my cards, I light a candle, say a prayer, and I lay them out there, and then the numbers go away every single time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it's a fun thing to believe in, too, because you're getting a direct message.
Yeah.
You know, God is saying, hey. Or the angels are like, hey, pay attention.
Yeah.
We got some important information for you here.
Yeah.
So.
I like that.
Yeah. Yay.
Yay.
So those are just signs. Who knew this podcast was going to be so much about science?
I know. I'm kind of proud of us.
You are?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we've talked about paganism almost this entire show.
We have. We have.
We have.
Oh my God.
As opposed to the normal shows where we talk about it for like 10 minutes and then talk about other crap for the rest of the time.
We did. We prattled on about writing for only a short while. I think the Lindsay Sterling took up a little bit of time.
But it was kind of spiritual.
But maybe only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the rest was all pagan stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like a high five is deserved. Yes.
Yes!
We did good. We were good pagans.
Yay! I love it when people email us and they're like, there really isn't such a thing as a bad pagan. And I'm like...
Have we had people say that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not really the same thing. It's not like we're bad. We're just...
No.
We're
And
we're
it's
bad.
not like you could be a good pagan. It's just kind of like the tongue-in-cheek, like...
It's just being cute.
We're bad pagans, and then we're like... rocker bad pagans, you know?
Yeah, because I used to make a joke before we did this that I think... Yeah, I used to joke around that I was a bad pagan because I never did anything.
Yeah.
And I inwardly joked to myself mostly about that.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I'm going to start a blog someday, and I'm going to call it This Bad Pagan.
Yeah.
And it was all going to be about witchy stuff and just me being a normal person and being bad about it. And then you and I became really good friends. And decided we should do a podcast. And what do we call it? Two Bad Pagans.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's cute.
It's
Let's
cute.
do that.
It's different, and it's kind of catchy, and I like it.
Yeah.
And it, has the double meaning.
And I think, it has a double meaning, and hopefully people come into it and they're like, they know that we're not up on our high horses saying this is how it's done, and we're so perfect and so spiritually attuned. And I'm not walking around in purple robes and a big hat all day long. Yeah. I wish I lived like that. I don't.
No. We're just two people.
Yeah. Who are trying to figure out our spiritual path. Yes. I feel like this should have been at the beginning of the podcast.
I suppose.
We're selling them on the podcast. They've already listened to the whole thing. Only the strongest of holdouts are still listening at this point.
We're trying to sell you on the next podcast.
Yes, on the next one. Yeah. Which maybe will have a theme. But I kind of don't want it to have a theme because I kind of like that this one went off on its own. And it mostly stuck to paganism.
Yeah. I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in this month. We really appreciate you listening.
We do. And you should go buy my book.
Yes. How do people contact you? Or buy your book?
Well, they can buy my book on Amazon. The name of the book is The Beast. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And you can also buy it on Barnes & Noble, The Beast. It's only an ebook right now, but physical copies come later, next month sometime. But I'm also, if you want to know more about me, you can find me on YouTube. My name is Lindsay Mead, Lindsay with an A, M-E-A-D for my last name. And I do a daily vlog that you can find. You also get to see Nick from time to time on there. So.
Occasionally, I tend to show up.
Yes, every now and then.
Every now and again.
Every now and again.
Yep.
And what about you?
Well, people can reach me by emailing the show at twobadpaganspodcast@gmail.com. I tend to be the moderator of that account, so I check and then forward things to Lindsay.
Yep.
So if you ever want to email me, feel free and send something to that address.
Yeah, or if you just want to talk about things that we talked about on the show. We love to talk. We love to repeat the things you guys say in the next podcast and stuff. So
we love listener mail.
Listener mail is awesome.
Yeah, so feel free if you want to tell us what you did for your holiday, that sort of thing, or anything. That's a great.
We didn't do any homework. Crap.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
we'll talk about.
Yeah, the homework this time. You get a free pass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or you can go over You can check out my blog. If you want links to either Lindsay or I, you can go over to our Blogspot page at twobadpagans.blogspot.com. And that has on the sidebar links to get to Lindsay's vlog and Lindsay's social media and my blog and my other stuff. So those are great ways to contact us.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Thank you, buddy. Blessed be.
Love and light.
This is going well so far.
I know.
Hey everybody, you're listening to Too Bad Pagans podcast. I did that in the wrong order. Nick, just cut this out. Or put it at the end for like a B-side.
Yeah, bloopers.
Bloopers. I'm Nicholas.
Oh wait, what are we doing?
We say I'm Nicholas.
You gotta say hi everybody.
Hi everybody.
You can just go, I'm Nicholas.
Oh, that's right. It's gonna make for one hell of a blooper at the end of it.
What are you doing? You can't just say hi. I'm Nicholas.
I'm Nicholas. You will listen to me. This is Too Bad Pagans podcast.
Oh, suddenly you've turned into the Hulk.
You would like me when I'm angry. Okay.